And as this potential trade war ramps up, Elon Musk's task force has been pushing to gain access to sensitive government information targeting a federal agency. Chief Washington correspondent
Elon Musk's task force is attempting to access sensitive government information targeting a federal agency, according to a recent statement by Chief Washington correspondent Elon Musk, which has caused shockwaves online.
What do you think about what Elon Musk has been tweeting about Britain and the Prime Minister over the last few days?
Well, what I say is that all social media companies have responsibilities as well.
Don't think I should go to, visit Britain because they're gonna drag out some, tweet.
Angela Rayner is at the center of a heated debate over Elon Musk's recent tweets critiquing Britain and Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Musk has openly criticized the UK's political environment, particularly Labour's leadership, and his views have ignited a heated debate.
Workload went up from about, 70 to 8 hours a week to probably 120. Yeah, I go to sleep, I wake up, I work, go to sleep, wake up, work, do that 7 days a week. I'll have to do that for a while. There's no choice.
The ongoing feud is a contentious issue that requires further investigation.
But a new book reports that you said he couldn't run a bath. Did you say that?
Well, I'm not, there's a lot of things that were said in that book that I don't recognise, to be honest.
So did you not say that?
And it's tittle tattle, so I don't recognise what was said in that book.
But that's not tittle tattle, that's what the woman who's now the Deputy Prime Minister is reported to have said about the now Prime Minister.
Sure, and there was lots of other things that people have said about me or anyone else, and no, I don't recognise ever saying that to anybody.
Angela Rayner is demanding stricter controls over X, formerly Twitter, to combat misinformation and hate speech.
Between Diddy and Epstein, there's probably several thousand hours of footage here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that the people on those videos are lecturing the rest of us about our moral failings, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
What is that?
Well, part of how they deflect attention from themselves is by, criticizing the morals of others.
Yes.
It's sort of like a preemptive moral strike. Those who are saying Trump is a threat to democracy are themselves actually the threat to democracy.
It feels like we're...
Musk, a prominent figure in the fight for absolute free speech, stands against governments controlling what people can say online. He believes that governments should not dictate what people can or cannot say, and his defiance has sparked a crucial debate about the nature of free speech and who controls the narrative. His platform, Rayner, has turned up the heat in his fight for freedom of speech.
I think people are in a state of somewhat shock as to what this new government is doing, I don't think there's room for... Personally, I don't think there's room for something like you've suggested, because what you're suggesting is a sort of rapprochement, and that's not going to happen, not while this government you've got is doing the kind of thing.
Musk, a prominent figure, has expressed concerns about the UK's restrictive political climate under leaders like Rayner and Starmer, leading him to question whether he should visit the country. Musk believes the UK lacks a First Amendment equivalent, and its policies on online expression, which he believes are unimaginable, with people receiving 2 or 3 prison sentences for Facebook posts.
Be punchy about it because we will build the homes that we desperately need.
You say you're being punchy, but this is not very Angela Rayner. Why can't you just say, look, guys, the newts, the black-legged kittiwakes, the bats, you're going to have to take second place to getting houses for people.
Well, I believe we can offset, look after them, but at the same time not stop building.
All right.
Because we can't have a situation where a newt's more protected than people who desperately need housing. What we need is a process which says protect the nature and wildlife, but not at the expense of us building the houses we need. We could do both.
All right, let me ask...
The debate revolves around the online narrative, whether politicians are suppressing dissenting voices or tackling hate speech and misinformation. Musk's defiance raises questions about free speech, while critics argue that Labour's centralization of political control further alienates the public. The issue is not about Musk versus Labour, but about who controls the narrative.
On your own figures, we're also going to add to our population at 2.5 million people over this same period. Are you content that more than 5 out of 7 new homes will go to immigrants?
Well, that's not the truth, and that's not.
That's what will happen.
Well, that's not the reality because we've.
Well, where the 2.5 million immigrants that are in Rachel Reeves' budget figures going to turn up? Where are they going to live?
Well, there's plenty of housing in the UK, but the houses, especially
Whoa, hang on.
affordable
You can't,
homes
on
that
the one
we're
hand, say
building.
we've got to build this 1.5 million houses, and then
Rayner's ambitious plan to build 1.5 million homes to address the UK's housing crisis has faced criticism on social media. Experts question the plan due to high construction costs, a shortage of skilled workers, and delays in planning approvals. Critics question the affordability of these homes, with energy bills and taxes rising. Labour's plan appears out of touch with the realities faced by ordinary British citizens. Rayner's inability to provide clear answers about the housing strategy damaged her credibility, and she was accused of prioritising migrants over British citizens in housing allocation. Despite her denies these accusations, the public is not buying her explanations.
His word that he believes that Reform UK and Nigel Farage will form the next government in this country. Certainly, I would agree that the direction of political travel over the next few years is going to be rightward. Same direction. I think Elon Musk is sensing this. That's why he's so theatrically picked a fight with Keir Starmer. He's at war with the British government. Now, the word is he is prepared to put his money where his mouth is by donating to Nigel Farage's Reform UK party $100 million. And in that respect, he might succeed in transforming the face of British politics. Just
1,000 people have been given prison sentences in the UK for social media posts where there was no explicit link to actual violence, but they just said it encouraged violence. I'm like, well, did anyone actually do anything as a result of that media post? Well, no, but they're just and then they have a prison overcrowding situation in the UK, so they're quite literally releasing convicted and putting people in jail for Facebook posts. That's an actual thing.
Farage criticized Labour's rhetoric, questioning its plans to build 1.5 million homes while claiming there's plenty of housing. This criticism highlights Labour's disconnect from British citizens' realities, eroding public trust. Musk's involvement in the debate added another layer of intrigue, focusing on broader policies like housing and immigration. Both figures aligned on several points, creating a powerful narrative against Labour's leadership and painting them as a party focused on control rather than progress.
And Elon Musk said on X, on the announcement of your appointment, this was, quote, interesting. Yes. Are you going to try and raise funds from him? And have either of you had conversations with Elon Musk or his team about donations?
We've had no conversations yet regarding donations. Elon's obviously very close to President Trump. Nigel's also super close to President Trump. As you know, we helped, via my wife, do the largest Republican fundraiser ever done outside of America. If Elon wants to give and it can be given legally, then of course Reform would be very interested in that.
Because Nigel Farage, there was talk about an £80 million donation from Elon Musk.
A Sunday newspaper story without any basis of fact. Now, let's be clear, Elon Musk is very supportive of what Reform is trying to do, supportive of me personally, and we've got good connections with him. Nick's got good connections with him as well.
He's messaged me this morning.
Well, there you are. So
he's messaged you this morning?
Yeah, we're speaking. It's very late.
And what did he say?
I cannot discuss that.
Rumors suggest that Musk is considering a $100 million donation to Farage's Reform UK party, the largest political donation in British history. This could significantly boost Reform UK's chances in the next election, although the financial support is speculative.
It's because Elon believes in free speech, and Keir Starmer locks people up who say nasty things on Facebook.
Jackie, do you want to answer that?
Yeah.
He doesn't.
No. Well, the justice system does. We've got two-tier care, we've got two-tier policing, and two-tier justice.
I'm sorry.
And that's where we are.
We need someone leading our country in difficult times, when the world is perhaps in a more perilous place than it's been at any point in our lifetimes. You do need a degree of charisma. Now, Keir Starmer has the charisma of well, I did use this 10 years ago in the European Parliament, but I'm going to dig it out of the cupboard. He has the charisma of a damp rag. And what does he stand for? What does he stand for? He can't even define what a woman is. He flips and flops and changes his mind.
A significant cash injection could significantly transform the UK from an underdog to a serious contender, challenging Labour's power.
What these platforms...
Musk and Farage support each other due to their frustrations with Labour policies, including immigration, housing, and free speech. Their disdain for Saint's leadership and the UK's political climate align with Farage's critique. Together, they represent a growing movement against mainstream politics.
Of newcomers to this country who are being provided with free accommodation on site. Now, it's supposedly only temporary. We asked the council how long that means these people will stay for. They aren't able to answer that question. They say this is all very new. We can't say yet. It remains to be seen how long they'll stay. In other words, in brackets, they don't have a plan.
Some events that could turn everything upside down there. I'm hearing reports that Elon Musk is set to donate £100 million to Nigel Farage's Reform Party. If that's true, it would be, as I understand it, the biggest political donation in British history, and it would sure put rocket boosters, if you'll excuse the SpaceX part.
Musk's potential involvement in a populist campaign raises questions about money's role in politics and potential undue influence for Farage. However, his support could be a game changer for UK reform, as it provides the party with resources to confront Labour.
Prime Minister get off to a worse start than Keir Starmer. It's truly shocking. I mean, the message of things can only get worse is hardly inspiring, is it? And now we're living in a state, and you all know it, but they'll deny it in Westminster until the cows come home. We're living in a state with two-tier policing. We're living in a state...
As Labour struggles persist in the UK, shifting figures like Farage and Musk are gaining traction, challenging the dominance of Labour.
You spoke to Elon Musk. The big chat here in Westminster while I've been away is reports of $100 million to your party. Has he pledged any money to... Are you in talks about a deal now?
That 100 million story, I mean, where the Sunday Times got that from, I have no idea. Probably some bloke...
So how much will it be then?
Probably some bloke down the pub.
You're in the pub all the time, could be you.
Well, I do keep my ears open, it's very important. No, look, there are two things we talked about. Number one, what really fascinated me were the margins by which Trump won in the 7 key swing states. And the person behind that was one Elon Musk. I spent an hour going through with him what his strategy was, how he got new voters registered that weren't on the electoral register, how he used various tech tools to get out the vote on the day. There's some revolutionary stuff here. And I'm pledged to professionalising reform. I took copious notes yesterday. I've learnt a huge amount.
And he will help, X will help reform UK at the election coming up.
He's already given me considerable help.
With targeting voters who can't
understanding the process from start to finish, reaching disaffected communities who frankly feel there's no point voting for anybody, but just to...
Labour is struggling to maintain its popularity with voters, but it's surprising that they have lost so much credibility.
Show there is absolutely no enthusiasm for Starmer's Labour whatsoever. And it was interesting to watch Starmer speak outside number 10, his first prime ministerial address, having been to see the King. And in the course of that speech, he looked down at his notes, over 150.
The main focus of opposition parties is the economy, with Labour's policies worsening the situation, inflation increasing the cost of living, and the NHS facing worse conditions than Labour initially addressed. This has given opposition parties a chance to overtake them in popularity.
Are you 100% confident Angela Rayner's done nothing wrong, Ken?
I'm very confident.
100% confident?
I'm very confident in Angela Rayner.
That's different to 100% confident.
Look, don't try and play a game on this. I've been absolutely clear. Angela's answered all those questions. I have full confidence in her. I've expressed that over and over again. But I really think that you should be asking questions about the state of the NHS. I think you should be asking questions about why Blackpool, which was promised levelling up, now has a bigger weight.
The Labour leadership has faced distrust due to broken promises to voters, such as tax hikes that were promised but never happened. This has led to a significant shift away from the party. The biggest issue is the perceived lack of interest in the struggles of everyday people, rather than addressing economic challenges. Labour and Keir Starmer are currently focusing on fighting with key businessmen like Elon Musk,